Hi everyone, this is Teacher Jen from Camgush.com and welcome to another fun and exciting lesson from Exploring English Book 6. This is by Tim Harris and Alan Rowe. We are going to start our lesson on this page and we have to talk about what's happening here. We have 6 pictures and we have to think what's happening here in each picture. First one is in a disco club and it seems that there's an amateur singing contest. Number 2, this is the start of the singing contest. Alright, we have the first contestant, second contestant, and there seems to be a problem between these two men. And then on number 5, they had enough. They, fought with each other, but then there's one woman who hit the other man. And then here, on picture number 6, we can see that the bigger man was thrown out of the club. Now let's go on to the next page and read the story. I'm going to read the following. I want you to listen carefully, because after me, you're going to read this on your own. Let's start now. Johnny Wilson has been feeling very depressed. He's secretly in love with Ann Jones, but she acts as if he didn't exist. It seems she's only interested in going to Hollywood and starting a career as a professional singer. For several days, Johnny has been trying to see Ann. He must have called her apartment at least a dozen times this week, but she refused to answer the phone. She didn't want to have any more arguments with Johnny about her decision to become a singer. Johnny thought everything would be okay if he could just talk to Ann. Then he could make her change her mind about going to Hollywood. But it was no use. She kept avoiding him. Johnny had almost given up trying to see her when his opportunity finally came. Last night, there was an amateur singing contest at the disco club, and Ann was one of the contestants. When Johnny arrived at the disco club, it was 10 o'clock and the contest was almost over. There were only 2 contestants who hadn't sung yet, Olivia Palmer and Ann Jones. Olivia came on stage first. She didn't have a very good voice, but her boyfriend, Barry Craxton, thought she was terrific. He started clapping before she had even finished her song. The big guy must have clapped for 5 minutes without stopping. Johnny was irritated, but he didn't say anything. He was anxious to see Ann. When she finally walked on stage, he could feel his heart pounding. Ann smiled at the audience and then started singing one of Johnny's favorite tunes. He thought she had a beautiful voice and was sure to win first prize. Ann was only halfway through her song, however, when someone in the audience started booing. It was Barry Craxton, the same person who had been clapping so hard just a few minutes earlier. Johnny was very upset. He was about to complain to the manager when suddenly Barry threw a tomato at Ann. The tomato struck Ann on the shoulder. Johnny was so mad he ran up to Barry and challenged him to a fight. The big man looked down at Johnny, who was only half his size, and started laughing. Johnny drew back his fist and hit Barry on the chin. Then Barry grabbed Johnny by the neck and started choking him. Suddenly, a guitar came crashing down on Barry's head. Ann had come running over from the stage and was now in the fight. She couldn't just stand by and watch Johnny get beaten up without trying to help. The fight ended quickly with Barry being thrown out of the club by the manager. Johnny didn't get hurt, but his glasses were broken. He should have taken them off before fighting Barry. Ann didn't have much luck either. She was disqualified from the contest for taking part in the fight. It was announced that a local singer, Alberta Black, had won first prize. Now, students, it's your turn to read this story. I want you to read this story carefully and, as much as possible, have correct pronunciation. To do that, you can pause this video for a while, then read.
So I guess you're now ready to study because you had fun last weekend, right?
When you're done, you can press play so that we can continue on our lesson. Now, let's answer the questions. For you to answer the questions, you can get a piece of paper, then copy all the questions.
Okay, before we proceed
And
with
then
our new topic,
you can go back to the story so that you can get the complete answers. Okay? So I'm going to read the following. Why has Johnny been feeling depressed? Why did Anne refuse to answer Johnny's telephone calls? How did he finally get an opportunity to see her? Who were the last two women to compete in the singing contest? Who stood up and clapped for Olivia? Why did Johnny get into a fight with Barry? What did Anne do? What did the manager do? What happened to Anne as a result of the fight? Do you think Anne should have stayed out of the fight? Why? Okay, now this is the end of our lesson. I hope you learned something. This is Teacher Jen from Camfish.com saying goodbye and see you on your next video. Goodbye!